Welcome to Sideline Vibes, the Minnesota sports podcast, changing the narrative of Minnesota sports fandom. Today, we're going to talk about Wolves offseason stuff, wrapping up the finals from a coaching perspective, and then we're going to do the state of the state. Today, we have special guests, ball knower of all things Minnesota sports, Mr. Zach Stelter.
That's right. Happy to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Scott Yuma.
Thank you.
Then we also have our lovely producer, Schwann's Media Person of the Year.
Oh. It's not a real award.
Oh.
Not real. But I love where you're going with that.
We should make one of those.
Yeah.
There are real awards there, though, because my wife works there, and I know they do have pretty fantastic awards. So.
How about Sideline Vibes Producer of the Year?
Sideline Vibes Producer of the Year candidate, Mitch.
Woo!
And your host, Derek Long. All right, we're going to start with coaching up. We're going to be breaking down the NBA Finals that just wrapped up. OKC took it home on their home court. We're just kind of watching them celebrate a little bit here. Yeah, we're a little somber note. But yeah, let's go to the chalkboard.
Chalk talk.
Over to the chalkboard here. Chalk talk here with Coach Long. We're going to break down what made OKC so special this year, as well as our Pacers and a couple of different things they do offensively and defensively. And hopefully you learn a thing or two about the game of basketball here. OKC, let's start with offensively. Their goal on offense every time is to get paint touches. And what does that mean? They want to just get the ball into that painted area, whether it's by dribble drive or getting a paint or a post touch. But for the most part, they're coming off of pick and rolls. They're getting to these spots right here where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander excels. And then you see when Shai gets there, he is ultimate decision maker. He's really good at going one-on-one, getting to his spot, getting to his shots. If there's an overhelp, that's when the kicking out slash and kick game that OKC is so good at. They have 5 guys on the floor that can excel in those spots. Offensively for the Pacers, we have these things called layered actions, and they like to run a lot of those. Layered actions into flow. And we're going to break this down right here for you guys. Our 2-man game on this side with 3 offensive players on this side. What we call layered action is there's going to be an initial action that's going to go into another action. And so we can have a ball screen to start right here with the point guard coming off, big rolling down. As that's happening, there's an action on the back side. Okay, so you might have seen the Pacers run what looks like they're just moving around. There's an organized madness to it all. And while this is happening, these defenders here have to decide how they want to guard it. This can open up this action right here a little bit more, so OKC's help isn't always in the paint. You have an action coming off here, which can lead into a dribble handoff, and then going back and setting the screen. You guys following over there?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Okay. And so those layered actions, the Pacers do such a good job at that they're able to get to the spots that they want to get to, whether it's a layup at the rim or a wide open kick out 3-pointer. The other thing that makes the Pacers so elite offensively is their pace. Mm-hmm. And that's just off of misses, that's off of steals, that's off of whatever it may be. They were 3rd in pace behind OKC during the season. And people talk about OKC's pace. A lot of their pace is coming off of turnovers, whereas the Pacers' pace is off of made baskets. They're getting that ball up the court. Their goal is to get the ball up before the 20-second mark and get into their actions, kind of wearing at the defense as the time goes on. What do you guys think about both of these teams offensively?
One thing that I've noticed from watching both these teams all year is the fact that it does not matter who is ever in the game for these teams. They play the same way all the time. Both teams play incredible defense, and it's honestly, I think, what made this such a fun NBA Finals.
Oh yeah, I think from the first round of the playoffs all the way through to the NBA Finals Game 7. Yep. I mean, anytime a Finals can go Game 7, that's just electric in of itself.
For sure.
So for it to go Game 7 and just you're on your edge of the toes, the entire night, and you're like, I don't really know who's gonna pull away with it, and it was a really good NBA season for both of these teams. Obviously, they were both in the finals. I think OKC just had the better rotation of the two.
Going into what you guys are just saying here, the defense for the Pacers helped, and their improvement over the postseason end of the regular season helped them get to this point and get to that Game 7 because they went up a level. And so defensively, breaking down these two teams, OKC, they are known for their defense. And their one thing they're known for is what we call pack defense. And so we're looking up here. What that means is if you're off the ball, ball's up here, we have a high ball screen action coming at you. If you are not guarding the initial action, you are either in the paint on the backside, right here and right here, 1 foot in the paint, or you're in a gap. You're in a gap responsibility, tag responsibility as we call it. When that roll guy goes, he's going to pop over. Their goal is to keep you out of the paint. And this is when we saw it was a hard time for the Timberwolves to get into the paint, which is kind of where we rely on a lot of our offense and most of the NBA teams. And so they really pack it in, and they have the clientele personnel to do this because they're so athletic to be able to close out to their guys. If they do kick it out, they're able to not give up either an open shot or or an easy drive opportunity. Another thing with this is how aggressive they are on the ball with their hands. They basically force teams into turnovers by how aggressive they play. What also makes OKC very special defensively and why they won, why it might have helped them win this NBA championship this year is how switchable they are. They're able, and that's what helped them win Game 7. Being able to switch and guard all 1 through 5 on the court makes it hard for these layered actions that we were just talking about with the Pacers. They aren't able to do those because if you're switching everything, it kind of takes away those leverages that come from the layered actions. Defensively, this is where the Pacers got to this Game 7 here. The pickup point, they were able to adjust as this series went on, but the pickup point where they pick up guys as soon as that ball gets made for them, they're picking them up right away. And they were known for that all year, and that just wears on teams. As you saw I think it was Game 3? I could be mistaken. Game 3 where the Thunder just looked exhausted because the Pacers are just picking you up full court all game. It's exhausting.
Well, and this is probably, too, one of the first, that's why I think, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is both these teams are just perfect for each other in the finals because it's the first time really that OKC has seen a team do that to them consistently all game. A lot of possessions too, where they're like you said, they're picking them up full court when they inbound the ball, and they wore them down, which key reason as to why it went 7 games.
I was gonna say you don't see SGA very rarely be on his hands and knees like just panting and beads of sweat.
Only when he's at the free throw line.
Well, it's hard being a free throw merchant.
Right.
It's hard work. It's hard work.
But with that point you just made, Mitch, is, I think that's the frustrating, kind of to switch gears a little bit, Derek, not to take away from your chalk talk here, but
this is great.
That's kind of the frustrating thing, I think, for us, especially us Timberwolves fans and us homers, is yes, OKC has played that defense the entire season. They've always been uptight, in your face, in your grill, packing on the ball, forcing you to be uncomfortable. But what we saw, I think, especially last round before the Wolves was, okay, yes, that's how you guys play, but then why can't we do the same thing on the end to your superstar? And that I think that's the frustrating part about the Thunder. Respect the heck out of them, but.
They're frustrating to play.
Right, yeah, because when you can barely touch SGA, but then Caruso and Wallace and Dort can be up in your face, raking your hands all game. That's the frustrating part. But but hats off to them. The X's and O's of their defense are phenomenal.
Yeah, they're robots.
Their rotations, they never miss a beat with whoever's in the game. They rotate. They help the helper so well. They're experts at that.
And kind of what you were saying with the Timberwolves being able to match even the Nuggets as well. The frustration with that. The Pacers approached this series they kind of opened up the league with how you have a chance against this Thunder team when the whole year people are like, these guys are just going to steamroll their way into the finals, and they ended up winning, but it was a tough win. The Pacers matched how they played. And both you could see throughout the series, the Pacers played just as aggressively style of defense. on their end as well.
And they never really got flustered by
No.
OKC's
They didn't let the
aggressiveness,
Yeah.
like the Timberwolves did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much of that series, and then we saw it in the Denver series too against OKC that they would get pretty frustrated at times. So,
Yeah.
especially Jokic. So
Yeah. And I think the last two games, Game 6 and Game 7, you saw the Pacers' last-ditch effort to try to slow them down. And why it was so frustrating for SGA the last couple games is they just changed where they picked up the ball screen. But what they were trying to do, too, is if that ball screen's happening here, they're wanting to do kind of like a flat hedge instead of coming out like this direction and making him go that way, because he's so good at splitting those.
Yeah.
What they were doing is going flat, making him go east and west, and that's why you didn't see a lot of assists and 0 assists basically for most of the team. Game 6 and then Game 7, it was still a struggle until after halftime when OKC really laid the hammer down.
and playing him that way too just doesn't allow him to get downhill, which is when he's at his best, getting to a spot, get downhill.
Yeah.
Shooting the mid-range, getting to the foul line, kicking out to shooters. The Pacers defended him the best out of any team they played all season in the playoffs too. So.
And overall, big picture wise, I think this is probably one of the best coach finals that we've had. I can't even remember the last really solid one where both coaches it was like absolute chess match both ways. I think this is entering a new era. I know people love doing this, a new era of different things. I truly think that this is the new era of the NBA. Team building, the depth piece is so important. You're going to see so much of that movement instead of teams like Houston Rockets maybe trading a lot to get 1 or 2 stars. You saw it didn't work for the Suns. You're going to see them trying to keep their depth. A lot of teams trying to build on that depth, and these two teams are kind of the blueprint. Every year you're going to be looking at those, or next year you're going to be looking at, okay, how can we compare again to these two teams? How do we need to play to get to those finals? But overall, what do you guys think about the finals?
I loved it. I'm so glad I went to Game 7. When Pacers took Games 2 and 3, I really thought they were going to come back and just take the whole thing. I wanted the Pacers to win so bad, just because I hate SGA, I hate OKC, but it's whatever. A good team, they won.
It's like a respect hate for me though. I mean, I respect the hell out of them because they're so damn good at everything they do. And then
they're meticulous. They're very just clockwork.
And there were so many times too in this finals that SGA just played like a stud. I mean, he was a stud all series. I mean, we can rag on him like we always do, obviously, for getting to the line and maybe a couple flops here and there. But at the end of the day, he was still knocking down shots and doing what he needed to do to win the championship for him. But it would have been really interesting to see. I mean, earlier tonight watching the game and Halliburton going out with the Achilles, that's something we haven't talked about yet. But it'd be really interesting to see what would have happened if he would have been healthy all series.
Right.
Especially here in this last game. He started out the game, I think, 3 for 4 from 3, had 9 points. And then he goes down, and the Pacers just fought back as much as they could in this game, and then they just kind of ran out of gas at the end, which you kind of expect that. It's hard to go on the road and not have your best player. But, man, losing Halliburton is a gut punch, I think, to all fans of the league and the series. And I don't know, it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of maybe took I don't know, it didn't feel right, I guess. So
I think what's been great about this NBA Finals and the previous 4 or 5, it's been a new matchup every year. And I think at first, I don't think the general population enjoyed that because they were so,
no LeBron, no Steph.
Yeah, we're so used to those
Right.
Cavs, Golden State or Miami,
Right.
whoever they played. It's whether it's LeBron or Steph, one of them was in the finals for
Right.
for so long, and I think having this 4 or 5 year stretch now, people are finally this is nice, not having the same dynasty team in the finals every year.
But like you said, Derek, now we're entering that kind of newer phase of the league, and I mean, it's yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's fun to see different teams have success. Small market teams especially too.
They're back,
Wolves
baby.
back.
Wolves
Yeah,
back.
Wolves back.
Next, we have the Crunch Time report here. I'm Crunch.
And
Were you
this is your
familiar with
time.
Crunch, Zach?
Very familiar.
Oh, very familiar. You're one of my first
Yeah,
followers.
very familiar.
Have you gotten more followers since the first episode?
No, not at all.
Dang.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Sideline Vibes, though, the Twitter, we'll put that right. I'm not gonna do that again.
Put it right here.
Hey, we'll put our all the socials that you can follow. Also, the email. We'll put the email in.
We have an email.
We have an
now.
email. You can send in questions. This week we're gonna be talking. We're gonna actually wrap up the Timberwolves
Yes.
talk because we gotta move forward a little bit, but we gotta talk about off-season stuff. How did it go? From free agency, still going on, but how's it gone so far? As you see, some teams already kind of making some trades, making some
Big one today.
ideas.
Big
Free
one.
agency doesn't start until I believe July 1st.
Yeah, new league year.
Yeah, so free agency will start July 1st, but
Yeah.
Is the NBA offseason like free agency and all that stuff as big as the NFL?
I think it's bigger.
it's bigger.
It's
I think it's
bigger.
way-
There's
Alright.
not a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Or not a lot of players on the teams, and so the movement makes a bigger impact. And so,
Yeah. I think the NFL, obviously, free agent signings are huge, but
Yeah.
I agree with you. I just think you see so many bigger names in the NBA offseason year after year. I mean, you could think back to like the last 10 years. There's always been some blockbuster trade right around the 4th of July, it seems like.
yeah.
So-
Yeah. Well, I guess we can start off by talking about the elephant in the room. The Wolves did not get Durant.
Thank God.
Where do you guys land on that? Are you okay not having Durant? Are you upset that we did not make a bigger move to get him?
Yeah.
He kind of said that he didn't really want to come
Right.
to Minnesota to begin with, but what are your thoughts?
If you don't want to come, I don't want you.
Right.
First
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah,
First of all.
I like that.
But I think I was definitely intrigued about Kevin Durant because how can you not be intrigued about a top 15 player of all time? I mean, being on your team, I mean, I think that's obviously exciting. So it's kind of like one of those deals where, for me, if we had traded for him, I think I would have been cool with it because it would have been sweet to see him in a Wolves uniform for at least a year and see what could happen. But then at the same time, it was also, okay, if it doesn't work out, then that's okay too, because we would have to give up a ton of pieces. What we have going for us right now, I think, is our depth, just like we talked about earlier tonight with the Pacers and the Thunder. We have, I don't think the level depth they have, obviously, but we have some good pieces that I think can be huge contributions for us going forward. So at the end of the day, for me, I'm okay with it. We move forward, but we'll be fine. But yeah, it's when a guy
on.
what's that? Yeah, right. But when a guy like Durant's being thrown and your team name's associated with it, it's like
It's kind of exciting.
it's very exciting.
Yeah,
So
we're in the mix.
that's where I stand.
I was totally happy not getting Durant. I was going to be actually pretty bummed if he had
Oh,
signed because he just I feel like his attitude just doesn't fit.
which
Minnesota's
He
vibe.
floats around.
This is a bigger whole question, but we don't need to dive too deep into it. But like, which superstar has gotten traded more?
Him and Harden.
He's like a top 10
him
player
and
of all
Harden.
time. Eventually,
Yeah.
Those guys don't get traded.
Right.
But I guess that is the new era of
Yeah, but you don't
NBA.
see Steph going anywhere.
No,
Like Steph is a Golden Stater for life.
There's some of that I get a little bit worried about. Yeah, I would have been okay.
He
either
jumped
way.
ship, so he's jumped ship a lot. Harden's jumped ship a lot.
Well, and
mean-
I really do think Ant is our superstar.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
Yeah.
he's super young, but if we fill him in with the right B and supporting cast and B
Yeah.
type players to let him be Ant,
Yeah.
then I think we're gonna really reap the benefits and have him feel like he's supporting. He's not gonna want to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Where if we bring in someone like Durant, he's gonna hog the ball. He's gonna hog the show. It's all about him, and then
I don't think Durant wanted to be, honestly, second fiddle to Ant
Right.
on our team. That was probably a deciding factor of him. Maybe the report saying he didn't want to come play for us. I mean, because we know that he's got a relationship with Ant, but
Yeah.
him going to Houston, he now is kind of like the guy there now automatically, because Houston didn't really have a guy all year. I mean, they had obviously a really great team. They were the 2 seed, but they had just a collection of guys that played super well together with Jalen Green and Amen Thompson, and is it Amen or Amen? Amen Thompson, and but then in the playoffs we saw they didn't really have a guy that could just go get a bucket whenever they need it. Jalen Green disappeared in the playoffs. He was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And they had to rely on Fred VanVleet a lot, which, I mean, he was great in Toronto when they won the championship, but he's kind of a little washed now. So he'll be the guy there, and we'll see what happens, but they gave up a ton for him. So, I mean, I'm glad it's not us that gave up that much.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? We haven't heard your thoughts, Derek.
And this kind of segues into the next part I was going to talk to you about the offseason here is I've turned into a very reactionary offseason person. Especially with Tim Connolly at the helm, I trust anything that he does.
Right.
And so I have a hard time trying to wrap my brain around, one, the salary tables and how all of that works.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I leave that to like the experts, Dane Moore, those guys. They do a great job of breaking that stuff down, knowing how much money you could get for whatever. I'm just going to let people tell me what it is, and I trust them. And I've turned very reactionary. So, like, with the Randall trade, I instantly, as soon as we traded for him, I just went and looked up a bunch of Randall highlights. I'm like, okay, vision, how does this going to look?
Yeah.
How's this going to work? And instantly, I remember being like, I love this. This is going to be great. We have a guy who can kind of play make as that one of those post movers. Carl isn't great at doing that. Still isn't great at doing that, but. It worked out for New York, worked out for us. Anyways, I guess my next question here going into that, there's the kind of the big question is, do we bring everybody back, run it back, or are we going to see some of these guys kind of walk away? And how would we feel with both of those outcomes? Let's start with bringing everybody back. Well, how do we feel about that?
Yeah, I think there is a possibility we could bring everybody back, but I know that in order for us to bring our 3 guys that are up for new contracts, Nas, Randall, and Na, there'd have to be some kind of negotiating. And this is what I heard on the Dane Moore podcast. So if you guys haven't followed, if you have not followed that podcast yet, please do. But we would have to do some like a 1-year type deal. With I think he talked about Nas, like a 1-year type thing, with the understanding that, hey, we're going to re-sign you right away for this amount.
Yeah.
So it have to do with if these guys opt in or opt out, essentially, of their player options. Nas is an unrestricted, but Randall and Reed would have to opt in to their player options, and then we'd have to have a agreement with them for an extended contract. I know, Derek, this is going to hurt your feelings, but I'm okay with us letting Na walk.
No!
Yeah, I know you love him, but I think we have in Clark and Shannon Jr. 2 guys that can really kind of do a lot of the same things he did.
Okay.
Not as well, and he's such a good guy. I agree with you. He's a great guy. But he's the one that I'm fine walking because, I like you said, I like Randall's playmaking. Kind of ran into a buzzsaw with OKC. He wasn't able to do as much just because of how well they could defend. But we need Reed to score off the bench. We need Randall. But I think we need to find more of a aggressive scoring point guard option. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Because I think we need
TJ McConnell. Can we get? Let's check.
He would be lights out. But I don't know. It seems like there's some rumblings that I've heard on Twitter, not X, that maybe Memphis is looking at maybe kind of shaking things up after they gave up everything for Desmond Bane.
Sure.
I don't know, John Morant is kind of intriguing.
On the Wolves? Oh my word! What are we doing here?
I don't know.
I like that a lot more than the Durant trade.
I mean,
this sounds like a middle school kid playing 2K.
It's
kind of off the trade sliders, whatever.
But my point is,
I've not seen that.
It doesn't have to be. I guess it doesn't have to be John Morant, but I think we need somebody else that's a guard to kind of take away some of all the heat on Ant all the time to score at the end of games or when we need to bucket. And Randall can do that at times, but I think it's just a different way of attacking a defense when you can have a guard that's downhill doing the same thing that Ant does. and he's
You're not banking on the Dillingham progression.
I don't know. We have a lot. We have a lot to see with him.
Yeah. I'll ask you, Mitch.
Bring everybody back.
Bring everybody back. Your team
Yeah.
bring everybody back. I'm also team bring everybody back. We just saw with the Pacers.
It's chemistry.
They just did. They just brought everybody back.
And I was team bring everybody back. Derek, you know this.
Yeah.
When we went to the Western Conference Finals last year with Kat, I was like, vibes are amazing.
Yeah.
We're gelling. We know how to play defense together. Everything. And then, we had to do the Kat trade for luxury tax and second apron stuff, but.
Yeah.
It worked out, obviously, when we made the conference finals again. But I agree with you guys. I know what we have. I think our pieces that we need to plug in to make our team better.
Yeah.
But I also am a firm believer in chemistry and
Absolutely.
and time
I think
together.
it's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
The continuity.
Yeah.
Continuity? Nudity.
What are you
Whoa.
saying over there? Jeez Louise.
We're gonna have to put an X-rated podcast. We're
Yep.
talking about nudity now.
Explicit content.
Yeah. Continuity.
Continuity. There we go.
There you
You
go.
just saw the Pacers running back. I actually was talking to somebody yesterday about that. Is like, they're like, well, we need to add something. We didn't make it to the finals. We have to add something. Every team has to. I'm like, well, the Pacers didn't. And another way that you can kind of add some of these pieces is through the draft, which kind of is a good segue into my next thing. My last thing we're going to talk about with the Timberwolves this year until some of the preseason stuff comes along later down the road. We have pick number 17, and we have the 31st pick in the second round. So I kind of did a little research here. I have not looked at a single mock draft thing. I'm pretty locked in on the season until it ends, like
And
even the finals.
Isn't the draft or like this
Draft's
week?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So this is Wednesday. It's coming up here. So I kind of looked around that 17 mark on where guys would be available. Like there's some guys that I like ahead. We're not going to get Cooper Flagg. Sorry, guys. The Wolves aren't going to get him. Unless something crazy happens. We trade. I don't know. But that would cost a lot. Anyways.
Well, they might trade him. They did trade Luka.
True. No, everything's on the
They
table.
traded Luka because they wanted Cooper Flagg.
But anyways, I looked around the anywhere from like kind of 15 on, and just found three guys that I like a lot that you might not know.
Probably don't.
And it's not necessarily the three guys who I think are the best from that point on. It's more like the three guys that I think are very interesting and could actually kind of help the Wolves out a little bit. And so, first guy here, Walter Clayton Jr. You guys familiar with him?
Oh, yeah, Florida.
A couple things about him. He's a fearless shot-making facilitator.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what we were just talking about. Oh, we kind of need that. Is Dillingham ready for that?
I'd be down. I'd be down if we picked him.
So our next guy here is from France. So we might have a France connection here with Rudy and him already off the gate. Noah Penda. Now I love.
Is he Rudy's nephew?
He's not. But I do love this guy. Like the outside parts of it. Like his vibe just seems. He's a very chill guy. Oh, he'd fit in great with
Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels and our chill vibe already. Very chill guy. Jokes a lot. So he likes to figure out how things work. This is all part of an interview. I can't remember who did the interview with him, like a combine interview. He's interested in science.
Scholar.
He's a gentleman and a scholar. Yeah. He also likes to play the piano. There's just fun things about him. Just
smart guy.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart, chill vibes guy. Love that. That's who you kind of need in that like 8, 9, 10. If we're gonna get a guy in that spot. And I kind of like to compare him to. He plays like Julius Randle offensively. Again, I'm not saying he's as good as Julius Randle, but he plays like him offensively, but defensively, he is an absolute menace. He led the League One in blocks and steals.
Wow.
Stocks, as we call them. In France, the League One in France, so it's just like one of the top leagues. Well, one of the top leagues in the world. I mean, obviously the NBA is number one, but he like gets blocks, like not great footwork, I would say, like, but he gets so
positioning blocks.
Yeah, he gets so many tips. He gets his hand on the ball. And almost like every possession. He's just an interesting prospect. He's going to be somewhere around that, like anywhere from 15 to 30. So now my last one here. This is a far-fetched one. We might actually be able to get this guy in the second round, but he's rising. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. And I've actually been weirdly following this guy for too long. His name is Hansen Yang, or Yang Hansen. He's from China. He's 7'2".
7'2".
7'2". Now I'm not trying to be like hyperbolic
I'll take that.
here. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but they're referring to him. Again, this is what people are saying on the streets.
Don't say it.
They're referring to
Don't
him
say it.
as the Chinese Jokic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say next Yao Ming.
Though I mean, like he has a lot of potential to be the next Yao
7'2".
Ming.
Okay.
But they're saying that this is the Chinese.
So is this a
Jokic.
guy, though, that if he's going to fall to the second round, is it because he's not ready yet in the NBA? Would he be a guy that'd be overseas for a little bit before?
No, he will not be overseas. He'll be in the league. He's 7'2", 9. I don't even know, go through all the combine things. This guy shocked the combine. Why they call him the next, or the Chinese Jokic, is his passing ability is insane. He's another footwork guy. I love the footwork guys. Those are my favorite guys. You guys who can play off of 2 feet they always
It
intrigue
helps when
me.
he's 7'2" as well.
What's exciting about him is he ended up winning the Defensive Player of the Year in the Chinese Basketball League.
Blocking shots.
Blocking shots, yes. He doesn't have great athleticism, so it's hard to kind of.
Neither does Jokic.
Neither does Jokic, but when you can't really score on him. I'll get to this defense stuff. You can't really if you get inside and he's around, he's gonna get a block because he's so much bigger than everybody else.
Right.
Intriguing guys.
Right. And it was fun that we had no idea who they were.
Yeah. No surprise. Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know. Hansen Yang, Yang Hansen.
Yep.
Look him up.
You've been following him for years.
You'll see him on TikTok now. All right, you guys ready for the State of the State?
State of the state.
State of the state. I'm excited to be part of this one.
Yeah, this is what people have said is their favorite segment
Yeah.
on the show.
Who's saying that?
The streets again. The streets are saying.
Comment section.
First, we're gonna start with the Loons, just kind of the Minnesota United Loons.
I've been telling everybody I've met. You guys check out the Loons. You gotta
Yeah.
check out the Ducks.
They're not the Ducks. They're not
The
the Ducks. The
Ducks.
Loon is not a duck.
State bird.
State bird.
A fun fact for you. Do you know what state is the only state you can hunt their state bird?
Don't know.
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Oh, pheasant.
Pheasants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole hunting
Did you know
season.
that? Why didn't you answer it? Or was he just asking
He
me?
was asking you.
I told him that last.
Yeah, he told me the last
Oh,
episode.
okay.
I guess you didn't watch the whole last episode. Anyways,
I missed that.
episode. It's okay.
Minnesota Loons, since we last talked, they haven't played a lot of games recently because there's a lot of international play going on. And so they lost to San Diego. And so now they're 8-6-4, third in the Western Conference. So the last couple of years we've been kind of in that 1 through 3. Last year we were in the first spot for a while there. And so
I actually went past their stadium on Saturday.
beautiful stadium.
Yeah, we were downtown St. Paul. Just did a
Yeah.
little farmers market action.
Yeah.
Then we went to a Twinkie game
Oh,
in the heat.
in the heat.
Hot.
Yeah,
It's probably
it was-
hot, yeah.
It was the 9-0 loss against the Brewers.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a
Weather
second.
hot, Twins. Not so hot.
We'll get to them in a second here. Their next game is Wednesday. Check them out. You can watch them on Apple via you can get like an MLS pass.
Oh, sick.
Sometimes they're on Fox 9 too. I don't know. You have to check
noticed
and
that.
see like on the ESPN app when. I'll try to keep that in the loop there. But what's your guys' excitement level for the Loons? Like, are we starting to get more? You're not a soccer guy.
Not a soccer guy.
Not a soccer guy.
So I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
I'm like getting into soccer, so I'm starting to. Now that we're doing this, I'm really trying to get into.
I have been to a Loons game, though.
Have you?
Yeah.
Is it fun there?
When they played at
Wonderwall.
when they played at the University of Minnesota, I went to a game there. When they were building their new stadium.
Sure.
Gotcha.
And actually, I had a ton of fun.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's what I will say. I did have a ton of fun at the game. I just can't get myself to watch it on TV.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Well,
Well.
baseball's tough to watch on TV too.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yep. Yep. Teach their own.
Yep.
All right, let's talk Twins because I want to end on a good note. So, we'll talk Twins because it's not a good note.
Yeah, not a
We'll
I
have
was
we'll
gonna
talk
say-
Lynx after
It's
this.
not-
I was
a
gonna
good note,
say,
not a
there's-
good note.
Twins not.
You
yeah.
getting me? You flaming
We
me
were-
for not knowing the Lynx stuff, and I'm been getting into it there.
I know. The last time we talked, the Twins were starting this decline.
Yeah.
We were like, well, they won 13 games in a row
Right.
in May,
Yep.
and then since then they are 6-20 in June.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Is that good?
That's not good. That's not good. We have not won. I don't know when the last time we won a series. 4th in division, 11 games back. I mean, I think we could potentially still get into the wild card.
Yeah, I mean, we're not.
A lot of things have to.
And guess who we're going to play? We're going to play the Yankees. We're going to get our butt kicked.
Yeah.
Like every year for the past 10 years.
It's not a good
Sorry.
stretch. It's not a good stretch here for the Twins.
We got to change the perspective on Minnesota sports.
Changing the narrative. Now, we can look at some positives here.
We're kind of banged up.
We're banged up.
Yep,
So
kinda banged
the injury variance.
Yep.
You got to count that in, and also Buxton's having an all-star season.
He's been amazing.
You've been keeping tabs on that.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
Like he's gonna have easily his best if everything.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Everything goes how it's going, and he doesn't take this out, cut this out, doesn't get hurt. We don't need to talk more about the Twins because there's not really a lot of positive things to say at this point.
But-
So we're gonna let them figure it out.
But great place to go to a ball game.
Great place to go to the ball. Great food, great atmosphere.
Yep.
Did
Great vibes.
Use the Quick Rewards app. Got some tickets for free.
Really? I don't know.
Not
you
a
could
sponsor.
do that.
Not a sponsor
Not a
yet.
sponsor.
Can you imagine?
But if they want to sponsor, you take it.
Just the one that's in Marshall.
Just
the two
Yeah,
branches
okay,
of
okay.
Quick Trips in Marshall. Let's talk about Los Lynx. Our Minnesota Lynx. They're 12-1. They conveniently lost the first game after I
did
pumped them
notice
up.
that.
I pumped them up and they lost. But it's okay though.
Correct.
They are going to be in the Commissioner Cup final. They're 12-1. They're going to play the Fever.
Yep.
In the Commissioner Cups
At
final
home.
on July 1st. At home. Target
That's
Center.
July
Do we go?
1st. July 1st.
Do we go?
I can't go. I'll be in Vegas.
Those tickets are going to be so
I'm going to place a bet.
expensive,
I am going to place a bet on that game, though. I will say.
You have to.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
almost have to go. The only reason why is because remember we were talking last time about Fee versus Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And now we get to see them go head to head. And
That would be
whoever wins this game is the face of the league for the WNBA. That's just I determined this. Let's get it out there. This is the face of the league battle. We're bringing over the face of the league convo to the WNBA
Yeah.
because the NBA season's over. We don't have to talk about it anymore. We got to talk about the WNBA face of the league.
I do think, though, that it is a good conversation to have.
It's my least favorite, but
I do think,
if we
though,
are going to talk about it, we have to include Fee in this conversation.
but
She's number 2 in the
I
All-Star
like the fact that
Who's ahead of her?
Caitlin Clark.
Oh,
bet
interesting. Interesting.
Watch the games.
Fee's like kind of like a silent assassin, though. Like she goes about her business and just, I don't know. It's just a stud. She's incredible.
I'm sure she is.
But
She's a fiend.
I do not think
Let's
that
start that going. Fiend.
Fiend.
Indiana, though, I don't think they're the best team in the East.
We're gonna end here with the vibe of the week. I had written down Halliburton because I was going to talk about how no matter what happened, like win or loss, I was going to talk about how courageous it was for him, and I still will actually.
Yeah,
now. How awesome it was for him with his. I don't want to say his career was on the line. That's a little bit too serious, but it's obviously going to impact next season. He's not going to be able to play.
No, he would not play at all.
But what he said about it and how he kind of handled that whole situation with having that calf strain, everyone's telling him do not play, and it's all of us here would probably be like, well, this might be your only chance to ever play in finals.
Right.
It could be potentially the only chance of ever playing in a Game 7.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to get back to that spot. So for him to just kind of be like, you know what, I'm going to play. And that he was awesome in Game 6, and he was awesome in the start of Game 7.
Yep.
That pass, that transition,
Saved it.
Game 6, this is my favorite play of the NBA season. He thought fouled. He's kind of slow coming back on defense. Gets a tip and a steal from a bad pass from Williams. Goes down the other way and does like NBA Street look away pass on the sideline across the court to Siakam, and Siakam that was my favorite play.
Yeah, that was sweet.
I love how I just described that whole play in detail, but that was my favorite play of the entire season. It got me out of my seat. I'm not even a Pacers fan. I literally was like, ah! I was like that at
It was
the PA
incredible
guy.
play.
I was
Yeah.
losing my mind. Anyways, Halliburton, you're a dude. Thinking about you, man.
Make sure you subscribe.
Halliburton,
Like and subscribe.
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Another thing I had, I just thought of this randomly when I was enjoying the nice warm weather today. I was at the 8 Marshal A's game, and I was just so warm.
Hot.
And it was very hot. And I went down to get some waters, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to get a freezy. They have giant freezies there for
Yeah.
$1. But what age is it too old? Are you too old to enjoy
a good question.
freezy? Because I enjoyed that freezy so much.
Freezies are it's a summer, it's like a summer staple.
Yeah, you're not gonna go to the freezer in the middle of January
No.
and grab a freezy.
No.
But I don't know, probably like 70.
Yeah, I agree.
70? Okay.
Yeah.
I think your whole life you should.
Nobody's gonna be mad at you or say something to you. I think if you are at somewhere and
People
you
were
grab a
laughing at me when
freezy.
I bought it.
I mean, if you buy them, if you buy a pack at the store, then maybe, and you don't have kids. You know, if you don't have
Yeah,
kids,
but no one knows. I guess no one knows if you have kids. Like I walked up and I got a giant freezy, and I turned around and people were
right?
laughing at
But
me.
if you're buying like the mesh bags of
Right.
like
That might
liquid
be a bit
freezies,
much.
oftentimes, and
Sure.
they're at your house all the time, I might be like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But in the summer, a hot day,
At a game,
yeah,
Like-
bomb
Oh, it
pop,
was great.
a
It
bomb pop
literally-
and a freeze in a hot summer day.
it was the most refreshing thing I've had today.
Yeah,
I'll think about that freezy forever. But
yeah.
I actually do another fun fact about me. I have the all-time freezies in one day record at the Detroit Lakes rec where I worked as a rec leader.
is there a plaque up for that?
Yeah.
No, we have a record book.
I was
Um,
that was my next
All-time
question. What is your
freezy
book?
record. I think I had like 17 in one day.
I think we need to,
Is this vibe of the week or is this fun facts about Derek Long?
We could add that segment. Fun facts about me. Just one fun fact today. But
I feel
anyways,
like we gotta
freezy,
take a road trip up to
Yeah,
DL
right.
Yeah.
to see this book and any other
the
stories
sacred
about
book.
Derek.
Hopefully, it's still there.
But
With,
no,
with our luck, it won't be.
Freezies are great. I just shout out to Freezies. Freezies, you're the vibe.
ageless.
Actually-
They're ageless.
At the Twins game, I had some classic peanuts where you gotta crack open the shell.
Dude,
Yeah,
It was a vibe.
yeah.
I was not about the peanuts at first, and I had it was my buddy who bought them, and then I stole one or two, and I was like,
They're pretty good actually.
those are really good.
Yeah.
And then next 45 minutes just sweating,
just sweating.
and
peanuts.
cracking peanuts and just
Dude, it's just the
shells on the
American
ground.
dream. Just
Yeah.
brings you back to the 1920s.
And doing stats.
yeah, and doing stats. Did
Wow.
you bring your
While
book?
you're
Did you bring your book and your ball cap and your ball?
No,
glove?
I drank a Budweiser, ate a dog, and had some peanuts.
There you go,
There you
man.
go.
That's the American
That's
dream.
living.
That's living. No, yeah, go out and get a freezy. Don't worry about the judgment. Just enjoy yourself, man. Just have a good vibe. But yeah, you guys got anything else? Anything you want to plug, Zach?
I don't have much. I don't know. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Check out our socials. They're gonna be down in the description this time, and then our email. You can email us questions and just keep the vibes going. We'll see you next time. Sideline Vibes.
Woo!
I said the rhino.
All right, that's a wrap.
That'll do it.